The move to first base. All-star left fielder Ivan Calderon's shoulder and elbow causing unrelenting misery. And the team was unresponsive to manager Tom Reynolds' style, so he became the ex-manager. Up stepped Phillies Bellew, who has allowed the budding superstars Larry Walker, Delino DeShields, and Marquise Grissom to bloom in the summer sun and hustle towards the top in the National League East. In any language you want to use, these Expos are blossoming. City of brotherly love, Philadelphia, at the Vet, the home of the Phillies, who take on one of baseball's most exciting and surprising teams, the Montreal Expos. Nobody thought at the beginning of this season these Expos right now would be just 2.5 behind the Eastern Division leading Pittsburgh Pirates. They are. For Philadelphia, the disappointment mounts. 14.5 games out. Hello, everybody. Gary Thorne, Dave Campbell, and welcome. And great to have you with us tonight and a chance to take a look at one of baseball's really exciting stories, the Montreal Expos. And Dave, a team that's not only doing it this year, but probably is going to be there for some seasons to come.
Gary, it's really a great thing for baseball. They have the third lowest payroll in all of baseball. 20 of their 25 players have less than 3 years experience in the major leagues. And on top of that, they had a great draft in 1990 when they got 10 of the top 50 choices because they had lost some guys through free agency. How that youth is going to translate down the stretch for their first pennant run, you never know. But sometimes youth wins out over experience just because of their innocence and their exuberance and the other big word, talent.
They've got a lot of that, and they are in the race for Philadelphia. Now they've got to play the role of spoilers probably for the second half of the season. Yet when you look at this team, player by player, they're probably closer to getting it done than they are farther away.
I agree. The Phillies come in last place, 14 games out. But if you're looking for an early pick for 1993, I think the Phillies might be your team. They have 5 quality players that play every day in the lineup. They got Terry Mulholland. They also have Kurt.
Second in the series, Delino DeShields will be leading it off for the Montreal Expos at second base. Marquise Grissom, 2 speedsters at the top. He'll be in center field. Moises Alou makes the start at left field. He'll be batting third. Power hitter Larry Walker bats cleanup, plays right field. Brett Barbary, a switch hitter, working at third base tonight. The catcher spot this season, Darren Fletcher's done a lot of it. He's a left-handed hitter. Spike Owen, the veteran off the DL, is back at shortstop. He'll be followed by Arki Cianfrocco. He'll be playing at first base. And on the mound will be the left-hander Chris Nabholz.
23-year-old right-hander Ben Rivera picked up earlier this season from the Atlanta Braves in a trade for pitcher Donnie Elliott. He is making his 4th start. They have really revamped his delivery over here. We'll talk about that as the game goes on. But he was a sidearm sinker ball in Atlanta. He's come more on top and throwing the cross-seam fastball. He's had pretty good success with it. Checking the defense that plays behind Ben Rivera tonight will be Dave Hollins at third, Joe Millette at shortstop, Mariano Duncan at second, and Ricky Jordan gets the call, giving John Kruk a night off at first base tonight. Stan Javier is in left, Lenny Dykstra in center, and Wes Chamberlain in right. Darren Dalton having a sensational year is behind the plate, and Ben Rivera looking for his first win of the year. He lost 1-0 to Chris Nabholz in the Expos last Sunday, and Felipe Alou, 41-31 the Expos are since he has taken over. And Mr. Felipe Alou, a man who said he has spent 70 years in baseball, 35 in the summer and 35 in the Dominican Winter Leagues. He has earned his spurs. He deserves this shot. And his team has really rallied around under him to this point.
Great player, 17-year seasons with the San Francisco Giants and at Milwaukee, and he was an all-star 3 times, played with Jesus and Matty Alou in the outfield, the all-brothers outfield at one point in time. And he obviously has been given a great deal of credit for what's gone on. They're 41-31 since Felipe Alou has taken over this Montreal Expos team, and they are a running ball club, 142 stolen bases. They lead everybody as far as picking them up and putting them down, and these guys at the top are 2 of the reasons why. Delino DeShields leading it off. Take a look at the numbers he has. 4th in the league in batting average. He is 1st in the league in runs. His on-base percentage continues to be among the top 10. He is 9th in that department. And when he gets on, he is a very distracting figure out there, especially with another speedster, Marquise Grissom, who comes in behind him. Rivera's breaking ball is in for a strike to him. Ahead quickly on the count, 0-2. who bats second, Grissom. Shields and Grissom had themselves a big night last night, hitting a long ball. That one to right field. Wes Chamberlain drifts over, and he'll put it away, and DeShields is retired.
Well, Delino, since moving back into that leadoff spot, has hit .399 in the last 41 games. So he has really been the catalyst for this turnaround since Alou took over. And Marquise Grissom coming in behind him isn't too shabby either, coming in with 55 stolen bases. Plus, he's been stinging the ball of late.
There you see the numbers for Marquise Grissom. See that on base percentage at .323. Also some power from him with the home run last night. The Montreal Expos had a 7-4 win last night. They've won 2 games in a row. They are 6-5 against the Phillies thus far on the season. 2-2 here and 4-3 in games played at Montreal. Grissom not catching up on Ben Rivera's. The Expos have won 4 out of their last 5 games. They're on a 7-game road trip that started last night. They'll play 4 against the Phillies here and then move on to Chicago to play 3. And suddenly they all become very important for this ball club, with a Pittsburgh Pirate team that continues to play great baseball as everyone has expected. The Pirates have won 7 in a row going into today's play. And the Expos now will begin to feel the heat of having to keep that kind of pace going in order to stay with them. Rivera missing outside with it, and the count is 2 balls, 2 strikes with 1 down.
Rivera, we mentioned, has really revamped his style. Earlier with Atlanta, he was kind of a side wheeler with a sinking fastball. They have his arm up higher now, and he's throwing cross-seam fastballs. Right there is a good one to Marquise. Also a pretty good breaking ball and an occasional change. But they felt with somebody his size, 6'6" and 215, they figured, what's this guy throwing sidearm for? Get him up on top and use the leverage.
His last start Sunday against Montreal, 1-0 ball game. He and Nabholz matched up again here tonight. That one is fouled off. No play for Chamberlain down the right field line.
So many great shortstops have come out of San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic, but now you're looking at a pitcher that came out of that city.
That one hit in the air hard to left field. Javier back near the warning track and on it, and he will put it away. Grissom again showing some power. Got one that was put up in the strike zone, but a long fly ball out. 370 where that one came down in the park. 2 down, and the base is cleared. And that will bring up Moises Alou. He has been on the DL at some points this season. They want him in that lineup because when he's in there, he adds some power in the middle, some RBI power, and creates what may be one of the best young outfields in baseball.
I get kind of a kick out of the fact that Alou says his father's not giving him enough playing time. He says, Dad, look at the numbers. I deserve to be in there. And his father just says, you'll be in there when I put you in there.
And he gets the ball up in the air to left center. Javier and Dykstra, and Lenny Dykstra, the center fielder. It has to be the traffic cop, pulls it in. So Ben Rivera, who will give up some fly balls, gives up 3 of them here in the first and gets DeShields, Grissom, and Alou, with the Philadelphia Phillies coming up to the plate. Philadelphia, Dave, this has been the disappointments here now are going into multiple seasons for this ball club, and that's tough. This is a great baseball city. It's had some outstanding baseball players and teams here, and the question right now, I guess, is how do you rejuvenate this? What's got to be done to get Philadelphia back in the spot?
Well, the first thing it would really help is to get their pitchers healthy. Andy Ashby, who went down with a broken thumb earlier this year, has been pitching rehab down in Scranton Wilkes-Barre, and they think he's very close to coming back. Tommy Green, who figured to be the ace of this staff, along with Terry Mulholland, went down early in the season. He threw 80 pitches on the side yesterday with pretty favorable results. They were going to take a look at him today, but if everything is pretty good shape, he's going to go out into rehab. They lost Jose de Jesus to the shoulder surgery. They lost Kenny Howell to shoulder surgery again. So they were really decimated in their pitching staff. But if they could get those guys healthy, Mulholland and Schilling, if Schilling's a real thing that we've seen most of the year, if Ben Rivera can give them a lift. And the one thing they talk about here in Philadelphia, because this is the 3rd or 4th biggest television market in the country, they do have some money going out and getting one of those top free agent pitchers this winter.
They may very well be doing that. However, coming into this game, the Philadelphia Phillies have lost 5 in a row. They're on a 7-game homestand. Their lineup tonight under Jim Fregosi: Lenny Dykstra, one of the top 10 hitters, leading it off in center field. Stan Javier in left. Switch hitter bats at second. Here's a young man we'll be talking about. Dave Hollins at third base. Another switch hitter, Darren Dalton. He's doing the catching and batting cleanup. Ricky Jordan, one of their prospects, is at first base. Another young man, Wes Chamberlain, with great power in right field. The veteran Mariano Duncan's making the start at second base. Another youngster, Joe Millette, will play at shortstop and bat eighth, and Ben Rivera, the pitcher, will bat ninth.
Left-hander Chris Nabholz stands 6'5", so we got a couple of tall pitchers opposing each other tonight. He's 25 years old in his third major league season. 7-7, 3.55, and gives up very few home runs. Only 6 so far this year. He only gave up 5 of all of last year. Checking the defense real quickly for the Montreal Expos. It will be Barbary, Owen, DeShields, and Cian Franco in the infield. Lou, Grissom, and Walker in the outfield, and Darren Fletcher is the catcher.
Lenny Dykstra will be leading it off, and right now he's just stinging the baseball. His .309 average is 10th best in the National League. Talking with him before the game, he just had a big smile on his face and said it looks like Big Balloon up there right now. He's still got a problem with a hand, but after coming off the DL a couple of times here this year, he feels he's in as good a shape as he's been in all season long, and the way he's hitting the baseball indicates that he's not telling a lie about that. When he's on, he can sting the baseball about as hard as anyone in the National League right now as far as putting it in the gaps is concerned.
Gary's second pitch of the year. Greg Maddux pitching for the Chicago Cubs. Lenny kind of went into a cut fastball, didn't move away from, hit him on the hand. And the second pitch of the year, the Phillies were behind the 8 ball because he went on the disabled list and missed about 3 weeks.
Just can't take a guy like this out of the lineup. He's one of the most difficult in the league to strike out because he is such a contact hitter. And as we said, he's a line drive hitter, and if he gets a pitch in the inside part of the plate, he'll pull the ball. But among those who don't strike out very often, he is ranked right now at 6th as the hardest to fan. And the pitch is taken down low, and that's one of the reasons he's got that great eye. Nabholz beating Rivera 1-0 in that last start on August 2nd. He's 1-1 against the Philadelphia Phillies. And he gets the inside corner on Dykstra. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 1-1 this year, 4-2 lifetime.
He may be the Expos' secret weapon. Over the last 2 years, he is 10-0 in the months of September and early October. So if they can get him to September 1st, he's got a pretty good track record.
Dykstra's only 1 for 14 against him in his career. Fights that pitch off, and the count will stay. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah,
unusual from the standpoint that Nabholz doesn't really throw that tricky hard slider, and Dykstra 319 against left-handed pitching this year. You'd think he'd do a little better, but Nabholz has had the better of it in the early going. But as you said, right now Dykstra's hot, and sometimes that makes a difference.
Dykstra really is a key spark to this Philadelphia lineup, obviously, with the speed he has as well. Getting on base really matters. Pops that one up down the left field line. A long run for Barbary, and ends up right off the front of the seats.
Gary, one of the things that is arguable in baseball when you start looking at these numbers, hitters versus pitchers, is to what number of at-bats really gives you a legitimate read. Some people say 15. Other people say you got to have at least 30 at-bats against a pitcher. Probably somewhere in between, because you never know. Lenny Dykstra, when he's 1 for 14 against Nabholz, Nabholz could have caught him 2 or 3 times when Dykstra wasn't hitting the ball very well. But I think 25 to 30 at-bats, you get pretty good reading on how a hitter and a pitcher match up.
And also, we give you career numbers in that department. That one is drilled down the right field line towards that corner. Goodbye, home run! Lenny Dykstra. For the Philadelphia leadoff batter, and as Dave said, only the 7th given up by Nabholz this year.
Coming in, Nabholz, 1 home run every 30 innings in his major league career. That was best of all active starting pitchers. But Lenny Dykstra turned on a 3-2 fastball after having a couple of lousy swings at fastballs away. He really turned on that one.
And 1-0 Philadelphia leading, and it's fouled back by Stan Javier.
Looked like Lenny just decided he was going to swing the bat a little quicker this time, and Nabholz came more in the inner half, and Lenny got the bat head out.
0-1 delivery to Javier, and that one's hit in the air to center straight away. Grissom. Lenny Dykstra never ceases to amaze me that a person his size, on the smaller statute size of it, can deliver the power he does when he gets a pitch in the inside part of the plate.
Well, it's all about bat speed. You think back to the toy cannon Jimmy Wynn. He had that tremendous bat speed, and Lenny can generate it now and then. Tough to defense, too. I mean, he'll nick you to left field and keep putting it out there. Finally, you get disgusted and try to bust one into his hands, and then he really quickens up his swing and can take you deep.
Like Ricky Henderson, but not nearly the number. That is the 9th leadoff home run Lenny Dykstra has had in his career, his 6th of this year, 39 RBIs for him. And that ball's taken down by Dave Hollins, the young man who gets hit almost as he hits. He's a guy who stays in the batter's box. This is one of those blood and guts kind of baseball players right here. He'll take a lot of pitches on the body in the course of a season. One of the coaches of Philadelphia, I thought an interesting note on him was, Larry Boa says, one of the reasons Hollins is going to be a very good major league hitter is his great view of the strike zone. One of the reasons he gets hit is he knows where pitches are, and instead of really backing off the plate, he just kind of lift his arms or pull the body back a little bit because he has such a keen sense of where the baseball is around the plate.
Well, the only debit I've even heard on Hollins so far, talking to a couple of the coaches also, is they said he is so intense that sometimes he just has a tendency to self-destruct, and he gets mad at himself. He doesn't get mad at anything else. He just gets mad at himself and takes it out on just about anything he can swing at, generally in the clubhouse. They'd like to see him. They don't want him to lose his intensity on the field, but they'd like him to have a little calmer demeanor. I mean, you're not going to get hits every time up.
He's been hit 14 times, and when you talk about intensity, you get these two guys together in the lineup between Dykstra and Hollins. There's something else to build on.
Well, this whole team, Darren Daulton, Johnny Kruk, I mean, these guys may be the most intense team in baseball as far as the batters in the lineup. I mean, these guys are really gamers. They just come out to play every day. If the Phillies had any pitching at all, they would not be in the state they're in this season.
As Dykstra had the home run to kick it off, his second against the Montreal Expos this season, giving Philadelphia the 1-0 lead.
Yeah, Lenny borrowing a page from the Jim Leland School.
That's right. That's exactly right. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 away. I think that rule's going by the boards. Nabholz misses up high with that. While we're talking about Philadelphia pitching, let's just get it out of the way. Their pitching staff is dead last in the National League and the only staff with an ERA over 4.10. To tell you how bad that can be, this Philadelphia team leads the league in runs scored with 470 now, yet they are last in the division. It's because that pitching staff has given up more than anyone else.
There's the ultimate gamer, Johnny Kruk, sitting there talking to himself, not in the lineup tonight. I asked John yesterday at BP, I said, how you hitting? And I can't repeat his answers. He said, awful, basically. Of course, awful for him is .341, still leading the National League in hitting.
I was going to say, he's still 10 points ahead of Andy Van Slyke. Here's the 3-2 delivery. And a towering pop-up down the left field line, chased by Barbary again, but he will not have a play on it.
Well, we mentioned the fact that Nabholz certainly is stingy with the home run ball. 300 innings pitched since 1990, .43 home runs per 9 inning. Only the Rocket, Roger Clemens, better. I asked some of the Montreal people why, and they said, we really don't know. He just seems to have pretty good control, but they didn't say there was really a trick pitch or that much movement on the fastball.
And he gets that one down and low, and Hollins has gone a K, and that's one of his problems right now. Nabholz gets the strikeout, and a lot of those are piled up right now for Dave Hollins. That's the 80th time this year he's K'd.
87-mile-an-hour fastball from Nabholz, and Hollins helped him out. That ball never really was in the strike zone, but Hollins went down after it. Didn't show real good discipline there.
Philadelphia, with all that offense they have, you would expect they'd have some high strikeout people, and they do, as Darren Daulton steps in. Hollins, Mariano Duncan, and Darren Daulton are among the top 10 in those in the dubious category of the most strikeouts in the league. Dalton's had 75. He ranks 8th. Mariano Duncan has 79. He ranks 5th. Hollins now has 80. He ranks 4th among those who have struck out the most. That hit him on the foot in the batter's box. 2 down, and the base is empty, and a 1-1 count on Darren Daulton.
Boy, nice to see Darren healthy this year. He, along with Gary Sheffield, those two guys, and you see him at the top of the RBI leaderboard, they may have the 2 quickest bats in baseball right now. When Darren Daulton and Gary Sheffield let the bat go through the strike zone, it's a blur.
Good off-speed pitch delivered by the left-handed Nabholz that time, and he kept it down low and goes ahead on the count. A ball and 2 strikes.
Short breaking ball this time from Nabholz, and Dalton, right about halfway through that swing, realized he'd been had.
1 ball, 2 strike delivery. And another pop-up, and that's a silo shot at the plate. Going to come back and drift into the, well, didn't make the road, hit off the top of the dugout.
Darren Fletcher never saw it. He looked up in the sky, and it really isn't twilight yet. He didn't get an awful lot of help from his bench, but that ball was playable. But Darren Fletcher looked up once, never saw it.
Boy, is that scary. He turned around, took the mask off, looked up in the air, and all he saw was blue sky.
Archie Cianfrocco is playing in short right field. He tried to get there, but he just couldn't cover the distance.
And Dalton goes after 1 down low, and Nabholz gets a couple of strikeouts here. He now has picked up 92 strikeouts in 130 innings, but he gave up the home run to Lenny Dykstra, and Philadelphia, after 1, leads it 1-0. In Baltimore have won 7 out of 10, so haven't gained any ground.
And, of course, we will have that matchup on Wednesday Night Baseball. Mr. Thorne and myself will be at Sky Dome. It's not the Sky Dome. I've been told it's not the Sky Dome. It is Sky Dome next Wednesday.
It's bad enough when players want to change how they pronounce their names. When we start having the domes deciding how they're going to pronounce their names, it's about time to quit. Dalton's going to play on this one off the bat of Larry Walker, and he'll put it away. Walker, first ball hitting off Rivera, pops out to the catcher, and that'll take care of the cleanup batter. 4 in a row retired now by Rivera. 1 down here in the 2nd inning. Now Rivera, only a couple of starts made this season. He's worked both out of the pen and as a starter for the Phillies. A couple of starts, 4 overall, this being his 4th. Still looking for that first win here of the year, going 0-2, trying to fill in for that staff that has been depleted because of injuries. Brett Barbery stands in and takes the pitch for a strike.
Talked to Darren Dalton before the game tonight, and he said the key to Ben Rivera is if he's throwing strikes early in the ball game, he's going to have a good evening. He's only missed with 2 pitches so far in the 1st inning and a 3rd.
Keep the batters swinging when they come to the plate. He's given up 25 walks, striking out 28 in 40 innings now that he's worked this season. Ahead on Barbery, the switch hitter, batting 182 right-handed and 265 left-handed. His only home run for Barbery this season. Hit from the left side. Another one of the youngsters, only 24 years old. And we'll take that one up high, 2-2.
Dr. Brett before the game tonight, I asked him how old he was when he started switch hitting. He said 12 years old. And I said, which was the natural side? He said right-handed. I said, yeah, but you're a better left-handed hitter. He says, yep, get a lot more at-bats that way.
To prolong your career. Good off-speed breaking ball by Rivera. Looked like it might have been up and away. Barbery goes down. Rivera gets his first strikeout, and there are 2 away in the 2nd inning.
Well, just a high curveball from Rivera. Sometimes you get that curveball high enough, a low ball hitter won't get it. Barbery tried to take that ball the other way, but it had enough bite just at the end to be effective.
Barbery with the first 2 outs, and Darren Fletcher, the catcher, will take the pitch up high. Fletcher working behind the plate this season for the Montreal Expos. This will be the 51st game. Gary Carter has been in 69 of them this season. Carter got off to a pretty good offensive start, but has dipped of late, going at a 224 pace coming into the game. While Fletcher's at 225, and there's the kid who's really loving it, playing in Montreal for the 2nd time, where he had some of the great years of his career before moving on to the Mets, and he's really enjoying this ride with an exciting young ball club.
Oh, he really is. He had 3 hits in the game against the Cubs. After a terrible July, Gary hit 151. That was the lowest mark in the National League, but that 3 hits got him feeling a little better.
Pitch is taken at the knees. Both these pitchers keeping it down, and Fletcher takes the count to 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two-two delivery, and chopped right off the fist that time. Mariano Duncan scurries it over to Jordan. And right now Rivera's in charge. He retires the side in order, and he has set down the first 6 Expos he's faced. 1-0 Philly.
When David and Lisa Edmondson needed life insurance, they came to...
The big train started to rumble down the track. Walter Johnson got the first of his 416 victories as he led the Washington Senators to a 7-2 win over the Cleveland Indians. Did you know that, Gary Thorne?
Well, I knew Walter Johnson, but I'm not sure I knew that one, Tom. But we do now.
Big Train would have had a few more victories. Babe Ruth beat him 5 times in 1917. Ruth won 24 games that year, which I still think, arguably, you have to name Ruth the greatest player ever, because here's a guy that set World Series records not only as a hitter, but as a pitcher.
Ricky Jordan leading it off. Nabholz, the left-hander, gets it fouled back. It'll be Jordan, Chamberlain, and Duncan due up. The left-hander on the mound for Montreal. These Phillies against southpaws this season, 21-18 against left-handed starters. Montreal 37-33 against the right-handers. Montreal's team numbers pretty much straight up across the board, what they've done, winning home and away and all that good kind of stuff. That one is going to be fouled off into the seats.
Let me ask you an objective question, being a man from New England.
Yeah.
Even though you're a great theater goer, do you think No Nanette was worth the Bambino?
No. No, I don't think so.
Most of you know,
Somehow.
but Harry Frazee, the owner of the Red Sox, sold Babe Ruth to the New York Yankees to finance a play called No Nanette, which became a pretty big hit.
Somehow that doesn't work, does it? Barbary, and he got it there just in time, and Jordan is retired. There's one away here in the second inning. I want to remind you, second half of our doubleheader on this Friday night, Kansas City Royals and the Oakland A's. Oakland back in first place in their battle. Minnesota, Dennis Moeller and Bob Welch are the scheduled starters in that one. Mark McGwire, you'll see, leading the majors in homers. 33 of them right now. Second in RBIs with 82 in the race to the RBI Major League crown.
Does it help that the song T for Two came out of that play?
No.
No?
No.
Of course, you're
No.
from New England, so I mean, you know, you got a little bit of a jaded
The
view on
Bambino still stalks Fenway.
the curse.
The curse. Big, powerful Wes Chamberlain, and he drills it to short. Short hop by Spike Owen off the carpet. Hits it over to first, and there are 2 down. Tom Eaves.
All right, Gary, down at Dixie. The Braves have Kevin Gross in trouble early. Bottom of the first, Terry Pendleton with 2 on, nobody out. Singles to right center. Mark Lemke and Otis Nixon come around to score. The Braves are still threatening, leading 2-0 in the bottom of the first. Gary?
What a chance for them to make some ground up with that Cincinnati team hurting as they are. Their line of 3.5 games up. A chance for San Diego to cover some ground. 7-0.
Read a note today. The Atlanta Braves 3.5 up. That's the largest lead they've had in their division since 1983. They must feel like they're on top of the world. They never led by more than 2, I think, last year against the Dodgers, and they're lucky if it was 2. I think it was 2 when they clinched it.
And it's 2 this year until this past week that have been the biggest difference. 2 down, nobody on. Phillies up 1-0. Mariano Duncan fouls it back. You take a look at that Western Division and what's happening as far as the standings are concerned there. It really now is a 3-team race. San Francisco, Houston, and L.A. take a miracle. San Diego very much within striking distance, and Cincinnati obviously still there, but the holes in their lineup are now enormous. Down to third. That hits off the bag. That will be an infield single. Mariano Duncan, and he gets back to the bag in time as Barbary, standing behind the bag, could see it coming. It bounced off the front of it.
Boy, those corners are dangerous. One ball hits the bag. The other one, Mariano Duncan trips over the other bag. Dangerous at those corners. Mariano kind of sheepishly grinning and talking to Mel Roberts, the first base coach. I think he's okay. He's just resting down on one knee. But this would have been an out, but Barbary backs up, and this ball hits the bag and pops straight up in the air. You see the chalk fly off the bag, and Barbary had Brett throwing right then. He would have got it in Duncan because Mariano flew around the base and then fell down, but it wasn't the first instinct. First instinct is just to eat the ball.
That one towards second base. Delano DeShields has it, and Millette, Joey Millette, is retired. So a 2-out single by Duncan to no avail for the Phillies, but they've got the homer by Dykstra and lead it 1-0. Philippe Bayou, the skipper, a delightful man. Had a chance to talk with him before the game. Suddenly this team's getting a lot of attention. Does it make a difference, Skip?
Well, I think it does make a difference. Our young boys are enjoying all of this attention. And the fact that they look down and see a bunch of clubs that were picked to be ahead of us, so far they are below us. So this is a preparation for the future. Maybe we'll win it this year. That'll be a big bonus, but there's no question that this is a great experience for this guy. They better be ready because it's going to be a lot of Montreal Expos threats and maybe winning on the pennant in the next few years.
And obviously it's keeping the heat off. Doesn't have to be done right now. Great if we do it. But if it takes a year or so, then so be it. And as a result, the players are able to stay loose and playing some mighty good baseball. Spike Owen in at shortstop against Ben Rivera. And he goes after the first pitch and fouls it off. Bottom third of the order. Owen. Cianfrocco, and then Nabholz the pitcher. Owen's got to be kind of loving this too. A lot of these veteran players who thought they were in a situation that wasn't going to get turned around for a long time suddenly find they are no longer sneered at by fellow players as to where they are. Rivera's breaking ball, and he's got a good one. Gets it in for the strike.
Well, Gary, we mentioned in the open only 5 of the players on the Expos have more than 3 years experience in the big leagues. Spike Owen, Gary Carter, Tim Wallach, Dennis Martinez, and Tom Foley. And that's your 5. All the rest of them are babes in arms.
Rivera couldn't get him to chase it. It's up high, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Tim Wallach sitting out, just getting a mental rest here at this point of the season. You note he's not in that Montreal lineup. Got that one up in the air, deep to right field, back in the corner. Chamberlain, he's got room. And Rivera got away with a mistake right there on a little eyeball hitting by Spike Owen.
Well, they say in the dugout, little man hit it. Spike has to really drill it to get it out, especially left-handed. He got pretty good wood on that ball, but the ballpark held him.
A couple of home runs given up by Rivera coming into this game in the 40-plus innings. Archie Cianfrocco coming to the plate now. This is the first baseman who's batting .308 against these Philadelphia Phillies this season. 0 for 3 against Rivera. Takes the pitch down low for a ball. They have fallen in love with this guy in Montreal.
I'm waiting to see this on Wheel of Fortune sometime. See, watch Vanna turn the vowels.
You can't buy enough vowels to spell this guy's name. Fouled off a ball and a strike. But he's playing some mighty good baseball. All season long, even when they were struggling at the beginning of the year, the Montreal fans just kind of made him a local celebrity. Fouled off outside of third. He's really struggled here over the last couple of months now. It's a 196 batting average since June 5 after a pretty decent start.
Yeah, he really did. He carried this club early on. He was kind of a surprise starter in several lineups early in the season. Had 5 RBIs one night against the Giants. So he did get off to a great start. Had a couple of hits last night. Maybe he's starting to come out, but 20 hits his last 102 at bats.
1-0 lead. Philadelphia ahead. And the count of ball and 2 strikes with 1 out and nobody on here in the 3rd inning. Ben Rivera, 1-2 delivery. Both these pitchers like to give up the pop-ups and fly balls. And lots of work in the outfield, infielders in foul territories tonight if these pitchers stay on track.
Gary, that's the biggest thing about guys that throw that 4-seam, cross-seam fastball. When they're on, when they're 90, 91, 92, and 94 miles an hour, you get a lot of pop-ups in the infield, harmless fly balls in the outfield. But that's where that gun comes in handy sometimes. When they stop to drop down to about 86, 87, the bat head gets out a little quicker, and some of those pop-ups are popped up about 400 feet.
This is a ballpark that gives up a lot of extra base hits. It's Gapper Park. Pretty good room in the alleyways here. There's never been a pitcher's yard. Background, if you talk to hitters over the years, this ballpark, they say, has one of the best backgrounds for hitters in baseball. And with the artificial carpet and deep alleys, lots of triples and doubles. Home runs, it's kind of, in the upper 10, but not as much of a home run park as you might have expected over the last few years. But you get a lot of runs here. Cianfrocco waiting, and he fouls off another one at the plate, holding the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
6 foul balls for Archie. Hanging tough. Just kind of a short swing trying to put it in play here. Rivera throwing strikes. You see how Ben has the arm up, and those of you who watched him earlier pitching down in Atlanta might not even recognize it as the same guy because he was throwing much more 3-quarter with that sinking fastball.
And another one going to be fouled off. Cianfrocco's having to make the jump to the major leagues from Double-A. He played Double-A ball 3 seasons, 89, 90, and 91. Batted .316 at Harrisburg in 91. Had 9 home runs, 77 RBIs. fact, in '91, he finished second in the league to his own teammate as far as the batting average title was concerned. Matt Stairs, playing AAA ball now for Montreal, was the league's leading hitter. Rivera coming inside to him, and the count has been worked full here. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Keep you updated on the other games rolling along. Boston had the win over the Yankees. Yankees are leading in this one in the second inning, 1-0. Boston trying to tantalize again. But they've got a long way to go before that tantalizing means anything.
Well, one of the scouts who I think was part of the recommendation on Ben Rivera was Jimmy Stewart, who does some advance work for the Philadelphia Phillies. Jimmy tells me he's one of the hardest working scouts in all of baseball. And Jimmy, next time I see you, dinner is on you, pal, on the expense account.
Oh, that's a good one. That one is going to be hit into the right field corner, and that will be 4 extra bases. Chamberlain going over to get it. Cianfrocco on his way to second base, and he will go in standing. Overthrow will go all the way to third. Played by Hollins, and credit the double, the first hit of the game off Rivera.
Well, maybe a trite, overused expression, but that was a terrific at bat by Archie Cianfrocco. He really battled, took a very short, compact swing. Rivera made a pretty good pitch away, but with 2 strikes, he's just trying to put it in play, and he just drives that ball out to right field. So that was an excellent professional bit of hitting by Cianfrocco.
Now Nabholz will have the opportunity to help himself out here. He's picked up 4 hits in 43 at-bats, has 6 sacrifices. He's hitting here with 1 away. At least shows on the first pitch. Left-handed pitcher and left-handed batter. Montreal with a chance to get this ball game tied up. He could get himself a base hit right here. Infield play short with the pitcher at the plate. Rivera gets the breaking ball inside. 2 balls and no strikes on the opposing pitcher. Cianfrocco at second, checking to see whether anything's on here, particularly whether or not he might be bunting.
Well, Nabholz's not much of a hitter, but when you get behind 2-0 on him, he tunes up the dial, becomes a little more dangerous.
Rivera challenges and gets it in, 2-1. Beautiful night here in Philadelphia. Could not have been a more gorgeous day than what it was here and along the East Coast today. And it's perfect tonight. That one towards second base will get the runner moved up. Mariano Duncan almost got handcuffed by that. Makes the play on Nabholz. Cianfrocco moves over to third base with 2 down.
Well, you mentioned Mariano got handcuffed a little bit. We were talking about this ballpark and the fact that it gives up a lot of extra base hits. Pretty fair, though. From the home run standpoint, it also rates out as the best defensive park over the last 5 years. Fewest errors played in this ballpark over any other park. And that's because this carpet doesn't really have many seams in it. The ball appears to stay down very well.
You can always argue about the effect of a carpet, I guess, on who it helps most. Depends on whether you're a ground ball or a fly ball hitting pitcher and how good your defense is behind you. Delino DeShields up. And DeShields now with 2 down has an important at-bat right here. He's been a .293 hitter with runners in scoring position this season. And he's got the opportunity to bring one home if he can get a base hit right here. Cianfrocco at third. Good stop made by Darren Dalton on the inside pitch.
Well, Delino, who is from Seaforth, Delaware, not too far out of Philadelphia, has a lot of family here tonight. He had never hit a home run in this stadium until last night, and he decided to do it in a big way. He hit 2 in back-to-back at-bats.
7 home runs on the season for him now and 43 RBIs. He does just about everything he could want. Leading the league in runs with 73. Boy, we've got the runs. Guys across the plate in this game. DeShields is first in the league. Hollins is second. Kruk not playing tonight is fourth. And Marquise Grissom is fifth in runs scored. The kind of offense these 2 teams generate. Whipped that one foul. And almost took his first base coach with him that time.
Tommy Harper's always had the good reflexes, and he needed them there. DeShields really whistled one at him.
It came about chest high as it went by Harper at first. DeShields, who flied out to right his first time up, waiting on the 2-1 delivery with 2 down, and he's got a base hit into right field. Cianfrocco scores, and this ball game is tied at 1 as Delino DeShields comes through again. 44 runs batted in for the leadoff batter. And Cianfrocco's one-out double has resulted in a 1-1 ball game.
Kind of amazing that about 42 games ago, DeShields really got frustrated and talked to the press and said, I can't stand all this pressure this Montreal organization's putting on the young players. This is even after Alou took over. And when Delino got it all off his chest, since then, he's hit over 400 in the last 42 games.
Now he's on at first base, and obviously everybody will be watching him. He is second to his teammate Marquise Grissom in stolen bases. Grissom with 55, and Delino DeShields has 40. Grissom's at the plate, having flied to left his first time up. He wants to see if DeShields is going to take off here and give him a chance to steal on Ben Rivera.
Marquise has your general lead against a right-hander on the carpet. He is a step and a dive away. Probably measuring Rivera. Ben, a big guy. Let's see if he does a slide step. If he doesn't, those tall guys are the easiest to steal on. It takes them longer to get the ball to the plate.
2 down here. That was close. He got him. He leaned back into the bag a little slowly that time and looked like he may not have realized how big a lead he had. Rivera rather picks him off at first base.
Well, Gary, I mentioned the fact he was probably going to take a little better lead because he thought that was Rivera's best move. He's about an extra step, and that false step, Rivera was really quick going over to first, and they hung him out to dry.
So that'll end the inning right there with Grissom at the plate, but they do get the 1 run in, and going to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. This one's tied at 1. 1-1 ball game as we go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. And the opposing pitcher, Rivera, taking the pitch down low for a ball, and Nabholz missing down low again. Quickly falls behind on the count. 2 balls and no strikes. And with Rivera up there, you get a pretty big strike zone. And you know he's going to wait around a while. You saw the offensive numbers for him without having picked up a hit and having only had 6 at-bats. He's in no hurry to swing the bat. He nods his head yes on a 3-0 count, as though he was going to get anything else. I think he had the take sign when he stepped in the batter's box. Larry Bowa will probably relay it to him again from Jim Fregosi. There's Larry Bowa, former skipper at the Major Leagues, now coaching here. And he walked him. Oh, Nabholz can't believe it. Nabholz has walked the opposing pitcher, and he was not happy with the call by Rich Riker, the home plate umpire. A leadoff walk. See if that comes back to haunt him. Take a look at this. Nabholz thought he was just putting this one down the tube. Well, it was over the middle of the plate, but it wasn't high enough. Rich Riker working the plate tonight. Mike Winters is at first base, Bruce Fremming at second, and Jeff Kellogg at third, the umpiring crew in tonight's game. Now, runner on at first against Nabholz has got a great move to first base, fouled back by Dykstra. What shouldn't matter here with Rivera over there. Rivera's not going anywhere. Lenny Dykstra led off the Phillies' first inning with his 6th home run of the season. He has really batted away against Montreal Expos this season. He's picked up a couple of home runs against them. Batting .311 on the season, and also has picked up 39 runs batted in. Runner at first base and nobody out. You would not expect Lenny Dykstra to be bunting here in this situation. In fact, he does not have a sacrifice this season. The 79 games he's played in, and he's not going to get one here. Rivera got back in time. Cianfrocco was behind the base runner, with Rivera not going to run, and that saved that Dykstra line drive from becoming a double. See, he's playing a normal first base position. Rivera, it's tough when you don't run the bases very often, but Rivera was able to lean the right way, which was back towards the bag. So Dykstra's retired on the line drive. Rivera remains at first base, and Javier up now, and now they will hold the runner at first. Cianfrocco moves over to cover the bag. Thought there might be a bunt, but Stan Javier fouls it back, strike one.
Javier was really lobbying to get traded while he was playing with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Once the Dodgers, Eric Davis went down, Strawberry down, Javier still couldn't get playing time. He saw the writing on the wall, so they finally dealt him for Steve Searcy, a left-handed pitcher, and Julio Figueroa, an outfielder.
He is 3 for 14 this season against the Montreal Expos, and against Nabholz 1-for-7. Javier 222 on the year now. He flied out to center his first time up. These Phillies had hoped to be able to get back in the race last week when they finished a road trip, though, with only 2 wins and 5 losses, and hit a very minuscule 218 on that road trip. And thus, they're 14.5 games out now, and it was tough coming home.
Yeah, I think maybe the hope was that a year ago this time they ran off a 13-game winning streak, one of the longest ever in their franchise history. They were hoping to duplicate it, but they just haven't had the pitching to do it.
Last season, Philadelphia put on one of those second-half runs that created a lot of problems for teams. The Philadelphia Phillies in the second half of the season played 148 points better in the second half than the first half of the year. But you have to take that with a grain of salt, because they played such a poor first half and get real loose and not see all the best pitchers in the league in the second half of the season.
Yeah, that's very true. I know Fred McGriff was talking last year about the Padres' great finish, but he said, hey, we weren't in a race. It's a lot easier to do it then. But he mentioned the second half. Only Atlanta and Milwaukee had better records in the second half than the Phillies. But again, that doesn't always tell the story.
Runner at first base still being held. The pitcher Rivera. Javier on the 2-2 right up the middle, went off the mound. Rivera will stop at second as Marquise Grissom gets it back in. Javier picks up a single. Now the Phillies have 2 on and 1 out. We have Tom East.
All right, Gary, we'll take a trip to the Midwest, Cincinnati. Glenn Braggs with Larkin at second. His reaction tells you the story, doesn't it? He got all of that. When Braggs gets all of it, it is long gone. Reds lead the Giants 2-zip. You see the Braves leading the Dodgers 3-zip in Atlanta. Back to Philly.
There's one of those players Cincinnati is relying on to do a little extra. With all the injuries they've got, Hal Morris being out of there, people like Braggs are going to have to kind of crank it up another notch.
Now, Glenn Braggs is certainly capable. He's never really had a great shot since he left Milwaukee. Basically been a platoon player in Cincinnati, but he is going to see some more playing time now.
Now Holland stands in. First ball hitting. Great play made to Shields. Knocks it down. Gets one. And almost able to turn 2. Not quite. He had to play that behind him. DeShields had trouble as it bounced up out of the glove, but he still got the force play at second base, getting Javier. Rivera moved to third.
Well, Delino moved smartly, but he still had the presence of mind. Make no mistake about it, Delino DeShields is a great athlete. He was recruited right here in Philadelphia by Raleigh Massimino to go to Villanova and play basketball. And a couple of years back in a slam dunk competition for non-basketball players, any other athlete invited.
And third, but now there are 2 down. And here's the man who leads in RBIs, Darren Dalton. This is where he has delivered all season. A .333 hitter with runners in scoring position. 277 off the left-handers. And a very strong 350-plus since the All-Star break. Rivera, the lead runner at third. The off-speed pitch by Nabholz is in. 1 ball and 1 strike. Over at first base, Hollins on the fielder's choice. Right back. And he gets a big out. You get Dalton with runners on, you've gotten the job done. So Darren Dalton is retired. 1 hit, couple of base runners left stranded on here at the third. 1-1. Wish you a good weekend, and thanks for letting us join you here to kick it off. 1-1 ball game. There's your line score over the first 3. Nabholz, 1 walk, couple of strikeouts, gave up the home run to Lenny Dykstra in the first inning. And Ben Rivera's walked none and has struck out 1. The RBI single by Delino DeShields in the third.
We saw a little glimpse of the fanatic. Usually not camera shy, but David Raymond, the young man under that suit. I guess not so young anymore. He's been in that suit since 1978.
He's the best, isn't he?
He's terrific.
Boy, he puts on a show. Joe Kerrigan, the pitching coach of the Montreal Expos, wanted me to pass along a special hello to Christina Fontanella in San Francisco. He's watching the game tonight on the West Coast and recovering from surgery. We wish you well. Joe's thinking about you, and we hope you have a speedy and safe recovery. Ben Rivera working on the mound, and Grissom standing in at the plate. Grissom, Alou, and Walker do up 2, 3, and 4. Foul back. Grissom flying out to left field his first time up, was standing at the plate. when Delino DeShields got picked off to end the third inning.
Tough kid. Ended up with a broken hand a little over a week ago. He was hit by Cliff Brantley of the Phillies in the hand. Had an X-ray, showed a fracture. He missed one game. Back in.
And towards short. It'll take care of him. Millette at short, making the play on Grissom. Joe Millette getting the chance in the infield here. Did you hear Wally Backman, who has broken a thumb, was not put on the DL, at least as of about 5:30 for the Phillies today? I guess. Have they done anything yet?
Not that I've heard of. They were waiting. Andy Ashby pitched last night in Wilkes-Barre Scranton, or Scranton Wilkes-Barre, and they were waiting for a report. Probably going to bring him up. But as of 5:30 tonight, Wally Backman, who can't play for 3 weeks, is still on the bench. He would be available to pinch run. Foul back. One down here. Alou batting at .297 on the season, working against Rivera. Alou flying out to center field his first time up. Rivera's gotten him all 6 times he's faced him this year. That one a foul ball outside of third. No balls, 2 strikes, 1 down, and a 1-1 ball game. Just a young, exciting outfielder as part of that Alou, Grissom, and Walker combination. Alou's 26, Grissom 25, and Walker 25. That's an outfield that's already producing. And obviously at those ages, you got to believe there's going to be a lot more of it to come. Hitting .288 off the right-handers this year. Alou takes this one from Rivera outside, evens the count up. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Moses missed the entire year last year with a shoulder problem. Hurt it in spring training. But certainly bounced back this season. All he wants to do now is play as much as his dad will allow him. Fouls it back. No matter how well you get along with your father, it's got to be a little tough day in and day out coming to work for him. Well, Felipe says one thing about his son. He says, this kid is tough. That's the way he was raised. He'll take whatever you want to dish out and keep coming back. 3 balls and 2 strikes. There's Dad. He just happens to be the manager. Also has his nephew, Mel Rojas, on this club, a pitcher. High in the air to left center field. Lenny Dykstra, the center fielder. Yeah. And he's got it. A couple of fly ball outs to center by Moses Salou, and there are 2 down here in the 4th inning now, bringing up Larry Walker. We're talking about Joe Millette. There he is, the shortstop. There's a youngster, non-drafted. He went to St. Mary's College out in California. Went to 2 different tryout camps, and they said, well, maybe later on in the season we might sign you. He went to work for Chevron Oil, was working there, got a call in September, said, hey, we'll give you a $500 bonus. He said, well, that's less than I'm making now. And they said, take it or leave it. He took it. Gets a chance to play in the big leagues. Smart man. Larry Walker takes the big cut. Power hitter in that cleanup spot for them. Walker is 5th in the league in home runs and 8th in runs batted in. Also among the best sluggers of the league in the top 5. Popped up in the air. Dalton will back off. The catcher will let the third baseman Hollins take that one, who's got the better angle. And another strong inning for Rivera, who retires the side in order here in the 4th from Philadelphia. 1-1 ball game.
At University Ford, the best
open of Pedro Guerrero and Tom Pagnozzi colliding, and Guerrero actually broke his leg on that play, and all of a sudden Darren Dalton, he's probably seen that so many times, he goes, wait a minute, I've had 6 knee operations. This is an easy play for Hollins. The influence of television. Also, they probably get tired of us talking about players not following the rules of the road out there, and guys who are supposed to be in charge not calling off others. Nabholz fouled off by Jordan as we go to the bottom half of the 4th inning. Jordan, Chamberlain, and Mariano Duncan coming up here. The Phillies trying to get out of their 5-game losing streak, but they're going to have to beat Son and Mom. The mother of all victories, Maggie Nabholz. That's the way Rich Griffin, their PR department head, wrote it. She has seen him pitch 11 games in his major league career, and he's 8-0 with 3 no decisions. Sitting right behind home plate here. Calling the pitchers, actually. Yeah, foul back by Jordan. Darren Fletcher's just there to receive it. That kind of record, why not? Now, there's the stat.
That's our stat of the day.
It's the mother of all victories.
1-1 ball game. 25-year-old left-hander going after victory number 8. 7-7 on the season for Nabholz. At second and out into center field. That one just kept on going. And Jordan is on. He's 1 for 2 in the ball game. And it is a leadoff single here in the 4th inning. 3 out of the 4 innings now, the Phillies have been able to get the leadoff batter on against this left-hander. The only one that mattered was the home run by Dykstra in the 1st. Seeing eye single. Jordan's on at first base. Chamberlain coming up.
Jim Fregosi last year, the manager of the Phillies, called Wes Chamberlain the man of the ESPN stance. Wes went through a 1 for 42 slump, and he said every time he walked up there, whoever he'd seen on a highlight film on ESPN the night before, he'd copied their stance. Now they got him straightened out. Dennis Menke has got him into a closed stance. He's been pretty consistent and has hit .301 since he was called back up from the minors a little over a month ago.
Batted .240 on the season last year, hitting at .260 right now. And does strike out a lot. He has drawn only 9 walks and 246 at-bats, but has struck out 49 times now. He grounded out his first time up in this game.
I told you, Jim Murray calls those guys the Will Rogers hitters. They never met a pitch they didn't like. He doesn't get the free passes too often.
That's one of the things they've tried to redirect this year to make him more patient. He has such power. Ricky Jordan goes back to first base. Jordan this season has had a couple of stolen bases, 2 for 2.
Nabholz last year 8 pickoffs at first base. He's got a much better move than that. Jordan not a real stolen base threat though. He's got a short lead.
Nobody out. Quick move. Nabholz shows a number of different moves over to first base. He'll give you a fairly high leg kick. He'll give you the step off and throw. He'll give you the short move, which he did right there, where he hardly picks the front foot up. Suddenly the ball's on the way to first base. It prevents the base runners from picking up much of a read on him. Chamberlain on the off-speed pitch almost corkscrewed himself into the ground. He was so far out in front of that one. And Nabholz evens the count up at a ball and a strike. 9 home runs for Chamberlain this season. I even think he'd have a few more when you take a look at that body he carries around with him. He is one sculptured structure, isn't he?
Well, he's all arms and legs, is Chris Nabholz, and he's got Wes Chamberlain kind of messed up at the plate. Chamberlain swinging at the motion instead of waiting to pick up the ball. A lot of times those left-handers come at you, arms, legs flailing, and you don't really wait till you see the ball.
Chamberlain having to go down to try and get it. 253 off left-handers for Chamberlain. 3 of his home runs have been hit against southpaws. The one he's facing right there, Nabholz.
Now this is what we mean. Look at the legs. The arms are flailing, and all of a sudden Wes was swinging at all that motion before he saw the ball. That time he waited a little better.
Jordan's on at first base. Nobody out. Tough at-bat by Chamberlain, who's working Nabholz. 1-2. Nope. Back over to first. Check in the scoreboard here. Pittsburgh, St. Louis underway. They're at Busch. Cincinnati trying to gain some ground. 3.5 out. Atlanta's the team they're trying to catch. Toronto in a little trouble. And that's a little trouble. A flare shot. Jordan going on the pitch is on his way to third. Throw going into second base. Tag! And he got him! Great play made by Walker, who was heads up taking a look at Chamberlain make the big turn. The liner to Shields had moved out into the outfield, so Spike Owen had to cover up at second base and did, and had Chamberlain about 10 feet from the bag.
Now, Larry Walker has been voted by the managers in the National League as the outfielder with the best arm. Wes Chamberlain might not be aware of that. He came steaming around first. Walker with a quick throw to second base, and also a terrific tag by Spike Owen because he had to move up on the ball, but Bruce Fremming right there. And you see from this angle that Spike got him on the backside. No argument from Chamberlain. That's the 10th assist of the year for Larry Walker.
Now the runner's on at third. The infield is moving in. This ball game is tied at 1-1. 5 hits now for the Phillies. Jordan at third base, one away, with Chamberlain being taken out on the play at second. Mariano Duncan, not known as an RBI producer this season with runners in scoring position, hitting .226 compared with his .265 overall average. He's got the RBI chance here, and he singled in the second inning.
Last 3 years, though, Mariano Duncan's had the best average in the major leagues against left-handed pitchers.
And he's got another one. Base hit into center field. Ricky Jordan will score. Duncan's going to go for 2. Throw coming in by Grissom is not in time. Phillies lead it 2-1.
Duncan just goes down and hammers a low fastball, and he hit it hard. This ball almost gets past Marquise Grissom. Again, that AstroTurf, Duncan never hesitates. 30th double. That leads the National League, and that's a career high as that ball hits Spike Owen right in the shin. So Mariano Duncan puts his hometown mate, Ben Rivera, both of them from San Pedro de Macorís, and Spike got that one right on the shin bone. Phillies grab a 2-1 lead here in the fourth.
Walking it off after he got hit. There's the league's leading double man, Duncan, followed by Langford. Ray Langford of St. Louis, who has 28. A 2-1 lead. Nabholz with a runner at second base now and 1 out. And Millette. And he steps off to get the runner back.
Duncan's also been running crazy on the bases this year. 19 out of 20 in the stolen base department. And Nabholz, it's easier to steal third on him than it is second. He's got the high leg kick.
He's stolen 12 straight. Not going to have the chance on that one as it's sliced foul the other way by Millette. The run in. We've actually had 3 hits already in this inning. But the out made at second base on Chamberlain, resulting in the only out. 6 hits for the Phillies now off Nabholz. These Phillies have not had those big numbers against left-handers. 19 and 25 their record against left-handed starters this year. They've actually done a little better percentage-wise against right-handers and lefties.
This is a time you really want to try to steal third if you can get a jump. 1 out, bottom of the order up. You steal third, you might be able to set up a squeeze play.
Millette waiting on the off-speed pitch. Nabholz catches the outside corner with it. And quickly is ahead on the count. Mariano Duncan, aware that Delino DeShields has moved in close to second base on him. DeShields not letting him get the big lead out there. They play the hitter, Millette, to pull. He pops it up the other way again. And Franco's there and got it. And he'll hold the runner. And there are 2 down as Millette pops out to the first baseman. Tom.
All right, Gary, at Camden Yards, the Orioles are on the board. And this is Cal Ripken against former teammate Jose Mesa. Ripken doubles down the left field line, scoring Brady Anderson. And the next batter, Glenn Davis, would also double, scoring Ripken. You can see the Blue Jays are trailing. Baltimore's got a chance to get within 2 games of Toronto by night's end. Gary?
Baltimore, as we said, Tom, they've won 6 in a row going into that ball game tonight. The RBI chance now with 2 down goes to Ben Rivera, the pitcher, who would have to do it on his first hit of the year. The reason he hasn't had hits or swings like that.
Ben may not be able to go back to the Dominican Republic this winter if he keeps swinging like that. If you're going to be from the island, you got to be a hitter. Ben fooled on the hook. What's this curveball thing?
72-mile-an-hour curveball. He was way out in front. That one misses down low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Ben was going to get some tremendous top hand on that ball.
Had all top hand if he did that one. 2-1 lead. Phillies on top. Out hitting the Expos 6-2 now. Taking the lead here in the 4th inning. Jordan having scored. He amazes himself and fouls it off. Now goes to 1-2. Another pitcher of interest today, Barry Jones, did not accept the Phillies' demotion to AAA today. He's been placed on waivers. The feeling Barry Jones feels he's going to be claimed, and I think he's right.
Could be. Obviously, a lot of teams looking for pitching right now. Of course, Barry was traded to the Phillies with Darren Fletcher, who's catching tonight for Montreal, going up to Montreal. Phillies feeling that Darren Dalton, a left-handed hitter, they just really didn't have room for Fletcher on the roster.
And he got him. That's That's the third strikeout of the game picked up by Nabholz, but a run in on 3 hits. The RBI going to Mariano Duncan, and that has given Philadelphia the 2-1 lead here at the vet.
Page.
Hit the Expos now 6-2. Lenny Dykstra accounting for one of those with his 6th home run of the season that came in the first inning. And we go to the 5th now. Brett Barbary will lead it off. Fletcher and Owen will follow for the Montreal Expos, who are looking for their 59th win of the season. Montreal Expos already done one thing this season they didn't do last year. They won 29 games against the East. Last year they won 28. And they've still got a long way to go, and obviously that matters.
That was a weird year. What, 28 and 61 in their own division?
That was unbelievable.
And they smoked the West, 43 and 29, but things back on track this year.
Brett Barbary, who played just enough last year to lose his rookie status. 25 years old. He played all 4 infield positions last year for this Montreal Expo team, making the start at third base tonight. Struck out his first time up. 240 hitter, takes Rivera's pitch down low, and it's 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Brett says his natural position is second base. Sorry, Brett. The line of the Shields.
You like third?
Wallach getting another night off. Felipe Alou said, you know, I just thought Tim was a little tired. I want to give him a couple of days off. I got to keep him fresh. He said, we got Spike Owen back in the lineup. He says, I've always wanted to have one veteran in the lineup. And he said, with Spike coming back off the DL, I can afford to give Wallach a couple of days off now.
Barbary waiting, and Rivera misses outside with it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Harry Thorne, Dave Campbell with you. First half of our doubleheader here tonight. KC will be coming up, grounded down to first. Jordan steps on the bag on the high hopper, and Barbary's retired. 1 away here in the 5th inning.
Interesting story right here. We mentioned Darren Fletcher, who's coming up to the plate now, played with the Phillies last year, and once he was traded to Montreal, he decided he wanted to go to a hitting school this winter, and Jay Ward, the hitting coach of the Expos, has one with Wade Boggs down in Florida. Fletcher paid his own way down. And there's Jay Ward, batting coach. Darren paid his own way down, $600 to go to the Jay Ward Wade Boggs Hitting School. He's done a pretty good job for him this year.
Why not? Batting .223 on the season. 14 RBIs. Nobody on here for him. Another hard chopper. Chamberlain says, Jordan says, get out of the way, and Fletcher's retired. A couple of ground balls down to first base, and there are 2 away.
Well, you know you're getting old when you see a youngster who is the son of a guy that you played with. Tom Fletcher, his dad, pitcher in the Tiger organization. I might even be older than Tom.
You say those things, I'm not going to. Spike Owen coming up. 2 down, bases empty. Phillies up here 2-1. Owen flied out his first time up.
You can always tell when you're starting to move along when you start calling the sons by the father's names. I think there's a few broadcasters that fall into that category, and they're pretty guilty.
It's the easiest thing in the world to do when you're looking at the face that sure looks like the one you knew before. Rivera takes the pitch down low, and the count goes to a ball. No strikes, 2 down, nobody on.
It took Barry Bonds, I think, to win the MVP before people decided he wasn't Bobby.
There's 2 years worth of that, and that'll probably never die. Bobby shows up for some of the Heroes ball games. He gets called Barry. I don't think he minds that at all. Strike taken at the letters on Spike Owen.
I always ruffle his feathers, so I saw him in San Diego during the All-Star break, and I said, Bobby, you are a great player, but second best in your family. Tough when you hit 332 home runs and have 5 30-30 seasons. You might not even be the best player in your family.
That one right off the fist. Mariano Duncan backs up on it, puts it away, and Owen is retired. 1, 2, 3 innings. That's 6 in a row now retired by Rivera for a ball. Have to have that artificial carpet play in the rain. Phillies leading here by a score of 2-1, and Dykstra, the leadoff batter, is batting .310 on the season, had the home run in the first inning, his 6th. Lenny's made dramatic improvement over the last 2 years against left-handers. He came into this season lifetime hitting .259 off lefties, but last year ended up with a .309 average, and Dykstra this season is up to .319 off left-handers. Ask him why? as I wait longer. So I used to get in there and think I had to hit left-handers differently by going after pitches that weren't the ones I like to take.
Well, Dennis Menke is an excellent batting coach. He works for the Phillies, and he's convinced both Lenny Dykstra and Darren Dalton that there is life on the left side of second base, and that's made both of them a better hitter. We talked about Lenny, how strong he can be and how quick he can go for the long ball now and then, but Lenny got a little pull happy when he first came over to Philadelphia. And Menke got him straightened out, and that's one of the reasons Darren Dalton's been so successful. Menke's got him to think left field, and with his bat speed, he can still pull the ball.
See the outstanding numbers he's had. There's Darren Dalton right there applauding the leadoff batter again. As Lenny Dykstra gets it done again, he's on as he draws the walk here, and Nabholz again with a leadoff man on base. All but one inning that hasn't happened in this game, and that was in the second. That's the second walk.
Well, we tell you often when the other guys get on to leadoff innings that you're just flirting with danger. You look at the statistics at the end of the year when the computer spits them out, and 40% of the time when the leadoff man gets on, he scores. So the more times he does it, even though you're dodging bullets, you're going to pay sooner or later.
Javier not trying to move him up by bunting there, fouls it off. The number 2 hitter in the lineup had a single in the third inning and flying out to center field in the first. 4 hits and 15 at-bats against the Expos this season for Javier. Dykstra, the wild man of the base paths, taking a look over to third to see if anything's on here. And he's got 27 stolen bases, has been caught only 5 times. Nabholz aware of that. They hold him close to the bag. Dykstra, by the way, is 9th in the league in stolen bases.
Lenny's uniform looks uncommonly clean. Doesn't have any tobacco juice dripping down the front yet. Hasn't gotten dirty diving back into the bases yet. Well, Lenny, look like you're supposed to.
He had that home run. He's feeling powerful about himself right now.
He and his buddy Wally Backman, what they used to call them in New York, the partners in grime. That's what they were. Dirtiest uniforms on the field.
Both the same size and play the same way. Head first. Everything. Javier batting at 227, waiting here as Nabholz keeps an eye on Dykstra. Lenny's not building up a big lead at first base. Dykstra only off a couple of steps on him here. Nabholz with that quick move, and Lenny Dykstra knows what getting picked off is all about. It happened to him in last night's game. So he's not about to be picked off again here tonight. Towards the middle. Great stop made. Owen. The Shields, and they turn the double play. They were squeezing Javier towards the middle, and it paid off. 2 down and nobody on.
When you talk about playing at double play depth, that means shorter in your position and also closer to second base. And the pitcher has to work accordingly. First of all, Nabholz makes an excellent pitch down in a way where Javier has to reach out for it. He really can't pull this pitch. The only way he can go is back up the middle. Defensed accordingly. Spike Owen gets there. Great feed to the Shields, and the rest is academic. Nifty double play. Everybody doing their job, including the pitcher.
Montreal Expos turning their 81st double play of the season. Philadelphia's turned 95 on the year. And it'll bring up Dave Hollins. Now there are 2 down and nobody on, and Hollins can go long ball. He is 9th in the league in homers with 14 of them on the year. And that's what he's going for right there against the left-hander. Fouls it off.
This is his power side. 10 of them from the right side. David also has the distinction of being hit 14 times this year. He's within 2 of a Philly record, and he's also within 1 of a major league record for switch hitters. Hit by pitch. Gene Larkin of Minnesota was hit 15 times in 1 year. You don't see the switch hitters getting hit very often.
Bounced in the dirt.
Everything coming in on him, all they got to do is move. But they say this guy's like a statue at the plate. If it comes at him, he doesn't budge.
You just stand and take it. Anything to get on base. 1 ball, 2 strike count, 2 away. This is a 2-1 ball game here. Phillies have the lead, having out hit the Expos 6-2. Nabholz to him, reached for it, and fouls it off. He didn't really get much of that one. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, our exclusive coverage of the Major League Sunday night at 8 o'clock. We'll have the New York Mets at Wrigley Field against the Chicago Cubs. Ryan Sandberg will be there along with Eddie Murray. Sid Fernandez scheduled to make the start. Mike Hartke is supposed to go for the Cubs. Sandberg's been heating it up. 365 since the break. Eddie Murray 400 9th home run last night. You'll see them both on Sunday night from Wrigley. The neighbors will love it. That one drilled towards the right field corner, and that one's going to take one hop off the wall. Larry Walker over to play it. It'll be a stand-up double as Hollins goes into second base with 2 down, and he really put the jolt into that one. Let's check in with Tom.
All right, Gary, here's the highlight the Expos will be interested in. I'm not sure they're going to like it. Jeff King off Real Cormier, gone. Solo shot, his 10th of the year. You know, the Pirates sent King down to AAA a couple weeks back. Since coming back to the bigs, he's hit a lot better, and the Pirates could use him. Let's go back to Philadelphia.
We have a runner at second base here, Dave Hollins, who has picked up his 15th two-bagger of the year. Hit number 7 for the Phillies. And Darren Dalton, the league's leading RBI man, coming up again with a runner in scoring position. He's 0 for 2 on the night.
Well, the Expo defense has kept this from being a little any worse than it might be. That excellent throw by Larry Walker diffused a rally last inning, and the double play this inning cut down a potential rally. We'll see if Dalton can pick up a run with 2 outs, but the good D has kept the Expos close.
Great note on Darren Dalton running the baseball circles now as he tries to be a catcher to lead the league in RBIs. Kind of amazing, I thought, that only 3 catchers have ever done that. Bench, Campanera, and Carter. And I really was surprised that that's all that's ever happened to. Campanella, I would figure, would have done it more than once, but actually had only 1. Bench, I guess you'd always count that way. And Gary Carter, right there, is the 3rd catcher ever to lead their league in RBIs. And Dalton's got a real shot at doing it this year, the way he's hitting right now. Outside corner taken for a strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Epples has been dropping down a little bit, side-arming Dalton with a curveball tonight.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Trying to get out of this and leave Hollins on at second base. Dalton 1 for 11 off this left-hander. Not going to do anything with him this time either. So Nabholz gets another big out. That's his 4th strikeout. And in all but 1 inning tonight, the Phillies have left at least 1 on base. 3rd inning when they got their run. Gianfranco, who delivered the double and the single RBI picked up by Delino DeShields. They haven't left anybody on, though. And there he goes. Out of your sight. Into the runway. Ike Gianfranco batting here. He had the double in the 3rd inning and did score the run, and he drills that one to left center field. Javier and Dykstra. Dykstra, the center fielder, says, I got it. And he does. 1 away in the 6th. Rivera's not walked anybody and has struck out 1. Very solid performance here through the first 5 innings.
Only 1 time has he thrown more than 12 pitches in an inning. He went to 26 in the 3rd. But the rest of the time, good job.
Nabholz, who grounded out his first time up, 1 down, nobody on, and he fouls the first pitch right down into the dirt. Can't do it much quicker than that.
First name is Bienvenido. Ben Rivera.
Nabholz, 4 hits, 44 at-bats for him this season. And he takes the off-speed pitch for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Ben's starting to hook Nabholz. Last time Nabholz made Rivera look kind of bad, so he says, hey, you're going to be in the pitchers union. You got to throw me the straight stuff, and you're going to see that hook too.
Hit for tat. Count remains at a ball and 2 strikes.
The general rule is nobody on base, out or 2 in the innings. They'll give that pitcher a pretty good fastball to hit unless they're really a threat. But men in scoring position, all bets are off.
This is down low with that. Rivera making his major league debut against San Francisco when he was with Atlanta. Came on April 9. We said 3 major league starts. This is 4th, 6 relief appearances. Could be in trouble on that one, and off the glove. And holding at first base. We'll wait and see whether Nabholz will be credited with a single on that. Mariano Duncan got there, but it looked like it hit off the heel of the glove.
Well, I'll tell you, Duncan really goes a long ways here. Let's watch his eyes, though. He goes a long way. Sometimes you start wondering where that right fielder is. And did Duncan take his eyes off to look and see if maybe Chamberlain? I mean, Wes Chamberlain weighs about 235 pounds. Do you want to run into that locomotive with your head up? Mariano might have taken his eyes off it. And I know the feeling, because that happened to me once or twice. I'd hear those thundering hoofs, and your concentration gets a little distracted.
They call it a single. So credit Nabholz with the third hit by the Montreal Expos, who are trailing here 2-1 in the 6th inning, and now they've got the top of the order up. Delino DeShields had the RBI single in the 3rd inning. And DeShields takes the pitch down low.
Yeah, I heard a couple of Buffaloes by the name of Ollie Brown, who checked in at about 210, and Cito Gaston. Cito was about a solid 210, 215. You run out there with your head up, and all of a sudden your life starts flashing before your eyes.
That's why those rules of the road are so important. The outfielder's ball, if you hear him calling, you get hit.
I know, but sometimes you just don't trust the fact that they're going to call it.
Trust it. Yeah.
Trust yourself into the hospital.
Yeah. DeShields batting at .321. And he puts that one to center, but it's a long way to get it out of here. Lenny Dykstra's right there, and he's had the 2 putouts here. 2 down, runner at first. Tom Meade.
All right, Gary, thank you. At Cincinnati, that 2-0 lead of the Reds is now gone. Will Clark goes the other way to left field. Mike Felder scores. We're tied at 2. The Giants, San Francisco/St. Petersburg, have tied Cincinnati at 2 in the 6th. Gary?
Well, I'll tell you, that hasn't stirred up the Hornets' nest today with the announcement that Laurie has sold the ball club. Marquise Grissom coming up. 2 down, nobody on, runner at first. Remember, you got to have 75% of the National League approve that. And a majority of the American League, that's 9 ball clubs, have to approve it in the National League in order for that sale to take effect, moving the Giants to St. Pete. I'm not so sure.
How are you going to realign the realignment that's in the courts right now?
Yeah, I think we have not heard the last of this story. If I had to bet, I would still think the San Francisco Giants end up with a new ballpark located in downtown San Francisco with private funds building it. Pitch is taken outside. I think one of the biggest problems right now, and a couple of folks that may not go for it, are going to be the Giants and San Diego. Because if you move the Giants out of there, that means all the games except the ones they play against each other are going to be out of their time zone. And that's an enormous difference for those 2 clubs. And even though ironic it might be that Los Angeles would vote against a move, I could very easily see that happening. But there's going to be a lot of politicking. I got a feeling the phones are ringing tonight around ownership land in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I think Fay has taken a Bufferin, an Excedrin, a Tylenol, and just about everything else tonight, if he hadn't had enough headaches already.
And the walk is picked up by Marquise Grissom here in the 6th inning. That's the first walk given up by Rivera. Detroit still having that lead over Toronto. Baltimore hoping it'll stay that way because they've got the lead over Cleveland. Chance to gain a game there if those scores were to stay that way, but a long way to go. 2 on, 2 down. And Moses Alou coming to the plate. He has flied to center field twice in this game. A very good hitter with runners in scoring position. .319 this year. Very good hitter anyways. Batting .296. 35 runs batted in. First and second occupied. 2 down. Philadelphia leading at 2-1. Rivera up high for a ball.
Alou's only hit 5 home runs, but this kid is some kind of strong. He hit 1 in Montreal, we saw on ESPN on the highlights, where he actually broke his bat in half. And then he hit one at Olympic Stadium last week in the left center field. It looked like it went about 430 feet. So he's very strong, particularly in the hands.
Rivera's breaking ball to him, misses outside. Question on Ben Rivera, since he's had so few innings pitched coming into this game. 39, and it's only his 4th start of the year. Widely scattered. He's probably getting a little time.
Gary, pretty big pitch right here. Alou 2-0 is looking for a fastball and probably something on the inner half he can turn on. This is a big pitch for Rivera.
2-0 delivery to him, right off the end of the bat. Checking the end on that one. That sometimes will split the wood.
Put it in a good spot. Didn't groove it. Alou couldn't get good wood on it. 90-mile-an-hour fastball. It had something on it, and he hit it in a good spot.
23-year-old right-hander trying to bear down here and preserve the Philadelphia 2-1 lead. Just missed. A little bit up high with it. Now he's behind on the count. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Remember Campbell's theory. It's certainly not it's not an original theory, but if you're going to win a baseball game, particularly a close one, there's always 2 critical situations where you have to get an out. This is situation number 1 for Ben Revere tonight. This is a big out for him. He's got Larry Walker, who's got 61 RBIs on deck.
Old Tom Seaver theory. Foul back. Tom always said in pitching games, there will be 2 or 3, and you better know where they are, and you better be able to get through them if you're going to be successful as a major league pitcher.
We had Bobby Welch pitching on Sunday night, and he faced that one critical situation. His team was already behind 2-0, and he threw his best fastball of the night and the hardest fastball on the radar gun to get a strikeout at the end of the inning. Then the A's came back and got 6 runs. That's knowing when to reach back and get it.
Runner's going, and he got it. And the bat gets blasted by Mose Salou into the dirt. The second strikeout by Rivera could not have come at a more important time right here. With runners on at first and second, he got him to chase one that looked like it was out of the strike zone. He's turned it on and watch that ball leave the yard. Ricky Jordan, goodbye, home run! 3-1 Phillies. Jordan crunched that ball. That is his 3rd home run of the year. There was no doubt about that one. 19 RBIs for him. And Fergosi's ball club is up here 3-1.
Jimmy pushing the right buttons tonight. Picked a good night to give John Kruk a night off. 2 runs scored for Ricky Jordan, and he pounded that ball deep into the night. And we go back to Chris Nabholz. Only 6 home runs on the year going into the night, but he's given up 2 tonight, and that was a blast.
On the season, 5 home runs by the right-handers and 3 by the left-handers, 1 each here tonight. That one was a 9-iron shot to center field. Marquise Grissom puts it away, and Chamberlain is retired. Wes Chamberlain had a single in the 4th, so he's 1 for 3. Ricky Jordan had a single in the 4th and scored, and a home run leading off the 6th. 3 on the year. 1 down here in the 6th inning, and we will get warm-up action. Sergio Valdez. First bullpen action we've seen, as Nabholz has been touched up now for 3 runs on 8 hits, 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. And as we mentioned, he's lived it the hard way. The leadoff batters have given him a world of trouble. The only time he's gotten them out was the 2nd inning. He's given up 2 leadoff inning home runs. Dykstra in the 1st, and Jordan here in the 6th inning. He gave up the leadoff single to Jordan in the 4th, and he scored. There were 3 runs. The leadoff batters. We'll come back to Honcha. Duncan's 2 for 2 with a double and a single and an RBI. He takes it outside.
Well, a little better than that 40% average, but when you have 2 home runs, those are the sure runs.
That's it done in a hurry.
Yeah.
You don't have to deal with them on the base paths. 2 ball, 1 strike count. And Duncan, who's hitting at 267, cuts through that one. 2-2. I don't want the people of St. Pete to think that I'm negative towards them in baseball. I would love to see them at the ball club.
Don't be covering your backside now.
No, I love St. Petersburg, Florida. When the Mets trained there, I thought it was one of the nicest places that we visited in spring training, because that was the Mets' home for a while. But I just have a feeling this ain't going to be it.
I agree with you, and I was just kidding.
Make my home there, so I got to be careful. That one fouled off, and Duncan stays in. It hit him in the batter's box.
Your winter home, of course. Your summer home will always be in Maine, correct?
There'll probably always be a place there somewhere.
How's the state bird? How's the state bird of Maine doing this month?
The mosquitoes have been pretty quiet, actually.
Yeah. Dennis Martinez has been pretty quiet. He pitches tomorrow against the Phillies.
11-10 for Martinez, which is an off year for him. Duncan waiting again. one is going to go into left for the base hit. The big dive was made by Owen, but he could not get to it. And Mariano Duncan's having himself a night here. 3 for 3, 2 singles, a double, and an RBI so far.
Well, 2 for 21 coming in tonight. He hurt his thumb up in Montreal last week, but that little flare hit he got his first time up that hit the third base bag, sometimes it takes that to get you out of a slump. But again, he has just killed left-handed pitching the last 3 years. He's at 125 points iron, as we mentioned before. That's the best of any major league player against left-handed pitching.
He is on. Phillies have picked up 9 hits. Lead it here 3-1. And Nabholz will hold on Mariano Duncan. With 1 away. And Millette, who is 0 for 2, batting but .200, standing in.
Let's see hit and run or a little movement type play here. Millette doesn't have much strength, and then they try to open up a hole for him. Talking to a few of the Phillies players, very slow bat. Just kind of pushes at the ball. He doesn't have a lot of hand strength, so maybe you want to try to create an extra hole for him. But Duncan's got to make sure he doesn't get picked off. He's got to make sure Nabholz goes to the plate.
Obviously trying to hold that double play in order here, expecting to see Mariano Duncan take off. Duncan's got himself a pretty good lead. 1 foot out there on the carpet. Weak throw that time to get him back. He wants to stay in the game. Knows he's approaching the precipice. Duncan goes. Hit and run on. Nice play made by Owen. Got to go to first, and we'll get the out there. Millette grounding out. Duncan will end up at second base.
Good job by Millette putting this ball in play. It looked like Nabholz came inside on him. His job is to hit the ball and preferably on the ground to advance that runner. You see Owen coming on the cover, so he continues on to get it. And Millette does his job. He gets his man over to second base. That stays out of the double play, allows the pitcher, Ben Rivera, to hit this inning. So Joe Potosi started the runner to stay out of the double play, tried to create the hole for Millette, but Joe couldn't find it.
Rivera had the RBI chance in the 4th inning when he came up. Duncan was on at second base, and he struck out. He comes up here in the 6th inning. Duncan is on at second base, still looking for his first hit. He drew the walk in the 3rd inning, 1 of 2 given up by Nabholz in this game. 3-1 Philly lead. Rivera try and help himself. Fouls it off, strike 1. Philadelphia Phillies here this season at home are now 26 and 27. That 5-game losing streak coming into this game. You don't like to play 500 baseball, and certainly not under 500 baseball in your own yard, but that's what has happened to the Phillies thus far. And he went around on that one and without much purpose. Strike 2. Montreal Expos hasn't really mattered a whole lot. 30 and 26 at home. 28 and 25 on the road. 2 down here. Wouldn't chase it.
TV sets are on down in the Dominican Republic tonight. Ben Rivera, Mariano Duncan, Felipe Alou, Jose Alou, Mel Rojas. I suspect we're huge in the Dominican tonight.
It's a nice place to be huge. He hit it. Trouble is, it only went to Nabholz, but it isn't. Rivera retired, but Ricky Jordan led this inning off with a home run. A couple of hits in the inning, 1 left on.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. With that clean, crisp, cold taste, nothing beats a Bud.
Thorne and Dave Campbell from the Vet in Philadelphia, where after 6 the Phillies have the 3-1 lead, out hitting the Expos 9-3. Rivera the walk and a couple of strikeouts. Nabholz the starter, a couple of walks and 4 strikeouts for the Montreal Expos. Let's see if Rivera continues to look a little tired here as he goes along.
Gary, when you're having a tough year like the Phillies are, you start looking for silver linings in the cloud. And Ben Rivera's last 2 performances have certainly given the Phillies hope. Maybe they have found themselves a pitcher. We'll find out in the future. You can't always tell over 2 starts, but Kurt Schilling has emerged this year. Terry Mulholland has really been on track. So if they can get some people healthy next year and maybe get that free agent pitcher, like I said, if you're looking for a dark horse team in 1993, could be the Phillies.
They have the ingredients. Larry Walker batting at .285. One of the league's leading sluggers. Takes it up high for a ball. Came in 5th in homers, 5th in slugging, and 8th in RBIs. And 1st in throwing them out from the outfield. It's a great combination.
Of course, for 108 out of the 109 years the Phillies have played, fans here have said this could be the year for the Phillies. Only once in 1980 was it.
It's gotten a little tough of late for Philadelphia fans. Ballpark, just looking to see what they drew. They're drawing about 26-2 this season for an average at home. That's not bad.
Yeah, fans are patient here. They accept the fortunes of their team, says tongue-in-cheek.
Yes. And he chased that one. Boy, Rivera got him to go way up the ladder. That's his 3rd strikeout, 2 in a row as he gets Walker leading off the 7th.
Well, Larry, swing a little messed up tonight, gets himself out here. He's had 2 weak pop-ups. But even the best hitters go into a little funk, not swinging at good pitches. And Walker goes, man, one thing for that pitcher to get me out, I'm getting myself out.
Rivera has had the leadoff man in every inning. He's done virtually the exact opposite of what Nabholz has done tonight. You see, Larry Walker's not real happy with himself right now. He's gone 0 for 3 in this one. 1 down, nobody on, taken down low. And the count is 2 balls and no strikes on Barbary.
Having been a person who endured a lifelong slump, Larry Walker, first 2 times up, got jammed with pop-ups. So he's probably saying to himself, I got to get that bat head out there. But he got the bat head out, but forgot to wait for a strike.
That's what thinking does again, right? Start thinking, you're in trouble. 2 balls, 1 strike. Intense about it. And that one popped up. That'll end up in the seats. Barbary batting at .238 as he stands in here in the 7th inning with 1 down and nobody on. Expos have had only 2 left on. That was in the last inning. They've taken advantage of the limited opportunities they've had tonight. Philadelphia is stranded 6 already in the game. Breaking ball again. Foul back.
Talked about how Felipe Alou paid his dues. 12 years managing in the Expos minor league system. 17 years a major league player. Managed just about every year in the Dominican Republic. He has put in his time, and he certainly deserved a shot and is making the most of it.
He's loving the attention for his team. That one down the left field line. Lifting over and putting it away is Javier. Barbary retired. 2 down here in the 7th inning. Aaron Fletcher will be coming up. All the winter ball experience he had, you can't encounter many more baseball situations than you do when you're managing winter ball.
Well, of course, the great story is how he suspended his brother for the rest of the season because he got in an argument with him.
Winter ball can be a difficult time for managers, and he spent a lot of winters managing.
Felipe tried to move Pedro Guerrero one time in the outfield. Guerrero refused to move, so he marched on the field and jerked Guerrero out of the game. And Felipe's brother Jesus said, "You can't do that." He said, "I just did, and if you don't like it, you're gone too." Everybody says, "You got to bring your brother back." He says, "I did the next year."
Left center field hit hard. Javier Dykstra back. Lenny Dykstra. They look at each other, and it is a ground rule double. Dykstra's ball to call for. Somebody didn't. And it will right between them. And Fletcher's on second base with a double.
Looks like a couple of guys looking at the dinner check at an expensive French restaurant. I got it. No, well, you take it. Oops. Little miscommunication. Notice that Jack Lang of the Baseball Writers has always been lobbying for that team error, or was that Dick Young?
Both of them.
Yeah. Now, that should be a team error. You hate to penalize a pitcher. Gets a deep fly ball, but definitely should have been a can of corn.
Now the runner at second base. 2 down. Let's try it again. Wes Chamberlain. Fans will give a little mock cheer as he makes the catch. Owens retired. The double picked up by Fletcher, left at second from the vet. 7th inning stretch time. Lafitte, the second home run. Ricky Jordan. This one came in the 6th inning, leading off the inning. Dykstra, now live, takes the pitch up high for a ball from the same Chris Nampholz.
Is it live or is it Memorex?
It's hard to tell these days.
I tell you, that ball Jordan hit would have shattered a few glasses.
Lenny Dykstra taking it for a strike, drawn a walk, had the home run, lined out. Philadelphia up 3-1. They're trying to come back after the 7-4 loss to Montreal last night in this 4-game series. 1 ball, 1 strike. Nampholz has walked 2 and struck out 4, given up the 2 home runs. 21 and 15 lifetime for Nampholz, his record. Breaking ball misses down low.
Little subtleties game within the game. Just before that pitch, Lenny did a little quick look down to first base to see how deep Cian Fracco was playing, and Archie saw that, all of a sudden moved in 2 steps. Sometimes Lenny just doing his deke to get that fielder in to try to slap a ball by him.
Dykstra picked up 4 hits in last night's game. That's a career high for him, but certainly not the first time he's done it. 12th time in his career that he's had a 4-hit game. He's a .283 lifetime hitter coming into this season, and he's got a .310 average right now. Pop up. Cian Fracco over. First baseman will not have a play. Ends up in the seats. They signed him with the big money to keep him here, and he certainly is the kind of player you can build around. He can be a real spark plug for a team. The way he plays, his aggressive style of play, move others to play the way he does. And this season, because of the injuries, the average was down early, and you see how it has progressively climbed. Nampholz to him, and he rips that one foul. When a baseball player starts seeing the baseball the way Dykstra's doing right now, you better duck. I mean, he feels like he can hit anything. He could hit Babe Ruth or Bob Gibson or Chris Nampholz or anybody else right now. That one up the middle, and he's got himself another base hit. Hit it where it's pitched. Dykstra, his second hit. He's been on 3 of the 4 times he's come to the plate.
This time Nampholz drops down, tries to side arm him. Lenny doesn't even flinch, right back through the middle. So now 6 of 7 innings. The Philly leadoff man is made base twice all the way around, and Lenny gets himself a leadoff single.
Dykstra at first, and Javier, who has singled, hit into a double play and flied out, batting at .226. 10 hits now have been picked up off Nampholz in this game, who had held the opposition to a .239 batting average coming in. And Nampholz has not been one of the easier guys to put some numbers up against. But Philadelphia is getting it done here tonight.
See what Fregosi has in mind here. Got a lot of options. He could sacrifice for Hollins and Dalton. He could play a little running game. I don't think he'll have a straight steal because of Nampholz's move.
Trying to sacrifice him down. Great bunt. Nampholz has got to play at the first. He does. Gets the out. Sacrifice, though. Dykstra down to second. We go to Tom Mees.
Talked about how Lenny Dykstra is seeing the baseball well. What about Reggie Sanders? You think he saw this Bud Black delivery well? Black doesn't even turn around. It's gone. 2-run home run, and the Reds have regained the lead. 4-2, but the Giants are threatening in the top half of the 8th. The Dodgers still trail Atlanta in the 6th.
Give great credit to Lou Piniella and the Cincinnati Reds. Every time you think they're almost ready to just fall off when they can't possibly pick the pace up anymore because of injuries, they seem to find a couple of guys who come through for them.
Yeah, Reggie Sanders was out for about 3 weeks with that rib injury. Glenn Braggs hit the home run tonight. We have made the call for a new pitcher, so Felipe Alou has seen enough of Nampholz.
Threw 105 pitches in the game, ended up with a couple of walks, 4 strikeouts, gave up 10 hits, and the 2 home runs, of course, were the big destructive damage that was done against him. So he is out of there. He'll wait for the reliever, trailing here 3-1.
Select 22 assists to lead all outfielders last year. Picks up 1 tonight on the perfect relay throw to Ripken.
Sergio Valdez, a 26-year-old right-hander, comes on in relief. Originally had come into the major league system with Montreal. In 1983 signed as a free agent. Has been with Atlanta, Cleveland, and now back again for the Montreal Expos. Working here with Lenny Dykstra darting back to the bag at second base. Sacrificed there by Javier. Dave Hollins at the plate. Doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 3. 58 RBIs and has a chance for another one right here.
Hollins about 40 points higher, batting right-handed, so Felipe Alou turns him around, makes him hit from the left side.
Dykstra will stay on the block made by Fletcher.
Key guy right now is Hollins. If Valdez can get him, they might walk Darren Dalton to get to Ricky Jordan, but then again, Jim Fregosi's got a guy by the name of John Kruk sitting on the bench tonight. Wheels spinning.
A 3-1 ball game. Phillies are leading. We're in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Dykstra at second base. 1 out. In the middle of that order. Going to the plate for Philadelphia. And he misses up high with that one. Montreal Penn's done a good job. They've combined for 2-1 record, 11 saves in the last 21 games since the All-Star break. 2.35 ERA over the last 55 games. John Wetland, of course, is their closer, and one of the people that Penn may have to face is the league's leading hitter, John Kruk. He has not started the game tonight.
I don't think that a couple of Phillies haven't walked by Kruk tonight after Jordan has homered and singled and said, John, you ever hear of a guy by the name of Wally Pip? Okay, I got your Pip. Who's Wally Pip? John's got his game face on.
The hot dog man. Keep an eye on that Pittsburgh game for you as well, as they've got the lead in St. Louis. Cardinals need some wins now. Stay in it. Hollins batting at .265, has a 2-ball, 1-strike count on him here. The importance of this run being measured as the pace slows down a little bit. Valdez delivers. He's missing up high, falls behind on the count now. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Not exactly what Felipe Alou had in mind was to walk Hollins to get to Dalton. That takes away a lot of his options.
Now he should get one to hit. We can get one in the strike zone right here. He got it in, but he was tied up on it. Not what he was looking for, and Hollins took it for a strike. 3-2. Front knee almost buckled on him as he strided into that pitch. Whatever he thought he was going to get, that wasn't it. Phillies have gone 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position, but those 2 home runs have made the difference thus far in this game with a 3-1 lead for the Phillies. Dykstra at second. He's going to be joined at first base now. No, he didn't go around. There's Jeff Kellogg. Hollins is walked. First batter faced by Sergio Valdez. Now there are 2 on and 1 away, and it'll be Darren Dalton coming to the plate. Leading RBI man. Darren Dalton loves hitting here. 358 at home, 223 on the road. What an enormous difference. 282 average overall, and the 77 runs batted in, and a chance to do some damage right here. Dykstra back to second base. He'd not wandered off very far.
Well, if you're going to steal third, one out and a man at second base is a pretty good time, except when you have the league's leading RBI hitter up and he's a left-handed batter. It's easy pickings for the catcher. Plus, you want to give Dalton a chance to swing the bat here.
He's missing up high. Dangerous territory against Dalton. 1 ball, no strikes. 1 out, 2 on. 3-1 Philadelphia lead. Dykstra, of course, with very good speed, the runner on at second base. Dalton fouls it off. That'll even the count at a ball and a strike. He felt with the disappointing season he had last year. He hit .196. Drove in only 42. Only 280 plus at bats, that he owed something to the club. So in the off season he worked hard at building up his body strength. It's paid off. High in the air to center field. Dykstra will tag up at second base. Marquise Grissom running in, makes the catch. Dykstra's not going anywhere, and there's why. And Dalton is retired for the second out here in the 7th inning. 0 for 4 for Darren Dalton. So with 2 down and 2 on, Jordan, who's gone 2 for 3, including the home run, his 3rd and the 6th. Gets another RBI chance. 1 in the ball game tonight and 19 on the year. Jordan faced Valdez. 1 plate appearance. Got a walk. Valdez comes inside to him for a ball. Another big point of this game. Philadelphia 6 stranded already. 4 of those have been in scoring position. 1-0 pitch. Came up and almost caught him in the chops.
Ricky had a broken jaw in spring training this year. March 11th, hit by his teammate Ruben Amaro with a line drive. Ricky didn't see it coming. That set him back, opened the season on the disabled list.
You want better numbers than that wherever you hit, but especially if you're batting 5th. Valdez delivers with 2 down. That one down to 3rd. High hopped. And Barbary makes the play, and Jordan is retired. So Philadelphia in the 7th inning, again getting the leadoff man on, but they'll end up stranding 2. Phillies lead it, though, 3-1 after 7. For his first Major League win. 11-8 last year at Double-A ball. 0-2 this season here at the Major League level. He's pitched well, a walk and 3 strikeouts, and has held the Expos to a lone run on 4 hits. And the breaking ball misses inside. Cianfrocco leading it off. His double came in the 3rd inning, and he scored on DeShields' RBI single, the lone run. Center field. Dykstra. And Chamberlain was running behind him, and you could see the right fielder telling him, it's yours, it's yours. They were not going to have that problem occur. And he's smiling a little bit as he heads back.
Question was he going Lenny, nails, or you got it, whatever it was, it wasn't I got it.
That's the 10th fly ball out we've had in this game off the bat of the Expos. Vanderwall stands in as the pinch hitter and takes the strike.
Another one of the good-looking young Expo hitters. Came out of the minor leagues from last year. A kid named Matt Stairs, who's been up and down this year. He was a Double-A batting champion. They got a lot of great-looking young players.
Matt Stairs has been up and down. Duncan makes the play, and the pinch hitter Vanderwall is retired. And
made a semi-funny and didn't even realize it.
2 down here in the 8th inning. Those are always the best. Coming up next, Kansas City Royals and the Oakland A's. Dennis Moeller is 0-1. Will be on the mound for the Royals. Bob Welch will be making the start, trying to become a 10-game winner. He's 9-5. The Royals have signed one Sam Will. Lordy. Mark McGwire leading the league in home runs and RBI king to be. Wild Thing Williams throwing in the bullpen. That's our second half of the doubleheader coming up, by the way.
What, when Wild Thing comes in?
That's right. Delino DeShields bunting for the base hit. If we had any more to do here, we'd need a traffic cop. Good play. A couple of big guys getting together over there as Ben Rivera had to track that one down on Delino DeShields. That one's done in a hurry. Phillies still lead it here 3-1. Take a look at how that one ended.
Well, Ben Rivera showed great quickness tonight. You saw a great pickoff move earlier, and now he gets off the mound to throw out Delino DeShields. This guy's 6'6", but showing terrific agility. Sometimes those guys with a high center of gravity don't move too well. This guy a little lower center of gravity. Pete Young just called up today. He'll come on to be the 3rd Expos pitcher of the night. Ben Rivera only threw 5 pitches last inning, but the Wild Thing warming looks like he'll probably be coming in to pitch tonight.
Pete Young is out of Meadville, Mississippi. He has had only a partial season of Triple-A ball this year. It's only his 4th pro season. He was selected by the Expos in the 6th round of the June '89 draft. Those are the numbers that have been put up this season. He was 7-5, working solely in relief last year, the first year that he'd been strictly a relief pitcher. Felipe Alou, the skipper of the Expos, saying before the game he felt he needed some help for his bullpen, particularly John Wetland, who's leading in saves. They had to go to him a little too often as far as he was concerned. Wetland said, "It's all right with me. I don't mind the work, but this is the guy they've brought up to do exactly what he's doing right here. Be a setup man."
And Felipe gets him in the lineup first game, and that's always a good sign. Don't give the youngsters too long to think sitting on the bench, even though he has been up earlier this year.
Chamberlain, shallow center field. Grissom hauls it in, and Chamberlain is 1 for 4 now, 1 away here in the 8th inning.
Mentioned that Wes has closed up his stance working with Dennis Menke, and Dennis also has gotten him to stand a little more still at the plate. He was very fidgety in the batter's box, maybe like Hal Morris, who makes it work for Cincinnati. But Chamberlain, the more he walked in the batter's box, the more difficult his problems became. So Menke's got him still, and he's been doing a much better job of hitting.
Mariano Duncan trying to go 4 for 4 in this game. Single in the 2nd, a double and RBI in the 4th, and a single in the 6th inning. Moving the average up to that 269 number, and the opportunity to have a 4 for 4 game with this at bat. Swings through it.
Phillies keep talking about signing that big free agent pitcher this winter, but they've only signed, in their entire history of their franchise, they've only signed 6 free agents. And big names, well, Pete Rose comes to mind, Lance Parrish, but it was Duncan and Maldonado and Richie Hebner and Carmelo Martinez. Those were the other ones. So they haven't had a real history of going out and grabbing a lot of free agents, the exception being Pete Rose.
Yeah, they've made a policy, really, of that, of not going in that direction. 1 down here. Duncan, who's had a 4-hit game 4 times in his career, standing here waiting for Pete Young, and he fouls that one off. Seeing Frocco gave chase, but it wasn't going to end up back there, and a fan gets clobbered and almost took that one right on the old forehead shot right there. Ooh.
All for, well, I used to say 3 1/4, but I'm sure, like anything else, baseballs are probably up to about $175.
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
What, maybe around $5.50, $5.50?
I don't even know.
I don't know
I haven't
anymore
bought one
either.
for so long. Foul back again by Duncan. There'll be some balls sold here on Monday, I'll tell you, as the Philadelphia Phillies players and wives are involved in a big auction, the 4th annual, for the Lou Gehrig's Disease Fund. They raise a lot of money, and a lot of players are involved in it right here at the park. They have an auction of some great things: jerseys, old-time jerseys, current jerseys, gloves, balls, bats. Foul back. They charge fans to come into the ballpark here. You get 1 autograph, I believe, for a $5 admission, and then others they charge for. All of the money goes to charity, and some of the stars from this team will be here, and from yesteryear will also be here. One of them, Tug McGraw, who I saw around the ballpark today, is going to be on hand.
Working in television locally here in Philadelphia, the Tugger.
Duncan waiting. 1-2 delivery to him. Strokes that one to left center field. Grissom, center fielder, puts it away, and there are 2 down here in the 8th inning. We'll check in with Tom.
All right, Gary, Budweiser takes us to Busch Stadium, and the runner at second is Jose Lean. This is Gary Reedus singling through the hole to left field. Jose Lean's going to round third and try and beat the throw. He does it. The Pirates lead the punchless Cardinals 2-0 in the 5th. That might well be enough to win the game for Randy Tomlin.
Cardinals have won, the Pirates have beaten the Cardinals 7 times in a row.
Cardinals have really been struggling trying to generate some RBIs. DeShields makes the play. Millette retired. That's the 4th time he's grounded out as he goes 0 for 4, and a couple of them have been to DeShields.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Anheuser-Busch, who proudly brings you Family Talk. Let's stop underage drinking before it starts. And by ESPN Home Video, producers and distributors of slow-pitch softball, available at video and retail stores nationwide.
3-1 ball game. It is definitely still within reach here of the Montreal Expos. The Phillies making some changes with John Kruk coming into the ball game for Jordan at first base. Mickey Morandini is in now at second base with Mariano Duncan out of there. And the Throg is on the mound.
The Wild Thing. It's always interesting when Mitch Williams comes on. He's kind of like Randy Myers of the San Diego Padres. He generally gets the job done, but it gets kind of ugly looking at it sometimes. Meanwhile, he's going to try to secure Ben Rivera's first major league win tonight.
Montreal Expos batting here in the 9th inning. Those are those Expos scheduled up. Grissom, Alou, and Walker. 2, 3, and 4 in the order, so you got the ones you want. Mitch Williams ready to go. Marquise Grissom takes the pitch up high for a ball. Marquise tonight has been on once with a walk, 0 for 2 officially at the plate. Has that great speed to get him on. They bring the potential tying run up. He's trying to draw the walk. Mitch Williams falls behind. He gets a generous smattering of boos as he came out and as he goes 2-0.
And you notice Felipe Alou, he doesn't care about agents or anything else. He told his players, hey, against this guy, we're taking a strike. Some managers do it. The next day, the agents call and say, hey, how's my guy going to hit 300 if you got him taking? But Felipe Alou, he's got the respect of the club. And the other thing he has going for him, he's got a bunch of young players who say, yes, sir. They haven't reached that point where they tell the manager where to go.
Big point. Misses inside. Mitch Williams leads National League relievers in save percentage. He's 20 out of 24. 11 and a third scoreless innings at one point this season, the longest a Phillies reliever has had. That's not current, though, not now. That one drilled in the air to center. Williams came back nicely on that. Lenny Dykstra will put it away, and here in the 9th inning, Grissom is retired, and there's one away. 4-game series opened last night. Montreal won at 7-4. We're in the 9th inning of the second game. The Phillies are leading at 3-1.
Well, Jim Fregosi hoping that his own personal axiom does not come true tonight. He says the game is never over till the fat man swings. He doesn't want John Kruk to swing tonight. He wants him just to play defense this half inning and have the game end.
Moises Alou struck out his last time up and has had the 0 for 3. Mitch Williams gets the go-ahead strike on the outside corner. This could be enough to get the Phillies out of that losing streak of 5 games if they can hang on here. And taken up high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
If you're keeping score with us, Mickey Morandini is playing second base, is batting 9th. He would be the leadoff man if we got to the bottom of the 9th. John Kruk is hitting 5th, and Mitch Williams is hitting in the 7th spot.
Down to third, short hop Collins, and gets it over to Kruk, 2 down. Moises Alou retired. 2 away, nobody on. Phillies are 1 out away from picking up the victory here tonight. They'll have to do it against Larry Walker. Williams looking for his 21st save. John Wetland, Montreal, and Lee Smith, both with 26, are the leaders. Williams is 6th in saves in the league. This is outside for a ball. Rivera, the pitcher of record, looking for his first major league win. Chris Nabholz, the pitcher of record, 7-7. Went 6 1/3, gave up 3 runs on 10 hits. Could take the loss here if there's no big comeback made by the Expos. 2 down, bases empty. 1-1 delivery. Missing down low with it. 2 balls and 1 strike. For Larry Walker. Oh, 2 for 6. There's Gary Carter on deck. 2 for 6 against Mitch Williams, deep to right field. That's back near the wall. Dykstra! That's the ball game as he hauls it in. A long fly ball out, but Williams retires all 3 and picks up his 21st save. And Rivera's got a major league win.
Well, for Ben Rivera, it gives his ball club a lift after Terry Mulholland got ill, had to leave a game the other night, and Kurt Schilling got pounded last night. Jim Fregosi